am talking to you guys. My handout is the hot pink handout. There's two pinks, mine's the bright pink. And I'm going to be talking to you guys about Spice Up Your Home. So this is University of Idaho Extension, Mealtime Inspiration, Spice It Up edition. And we are excited to be spicing things up with a variety of recipes. It smells pretty good in here. And like Julie mentioned, you get a taste test everything. Well, I decided to mix it up a little this year, and instead of doing a recipe, I'm going to be talking to you guys about ways to spice up your home really easy and inexpensively. So I kind of broke it down into three parts, and it goes from easiest up to a little bit more complicated, but none of these are really hard to do. So, and you know what? We forgot last night, and we forgot again, Lori. I'm pretty loud. I see a lot of nodding, so I think people are aware that I'm talking, but I could also attach this to improve our results there. There, is that better? Ooh, I don't even have to use my loud for H voice now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is repurposing. So I think that Laura's working on my PowerPoint presentation because I didn't bring my whole household of things to show you guys tonight, but I do have some things that I'm going to show you. So the first thing we're talking about when we're talking about repurposing is to change things up. This doesn't require you to go out and buy anything. This doesn't require a lot of DIY know-how. It's just using something else in a different way inside of your house. So the most important things to remember when you do that is just think about purpose and space. So you can use planters that you've had out in the garden, some fun planters. I use them for storage in my bathroom to put toothbrushes or hairbrushes or something, and it's a fun pop of color, a new way to use something. I've used a spice rack repainted and use it to display my essential oils, or you can use it to display nail polishes. It serves a different purpose in a different room. So you can just take items that you have throughout your house and use them for different things. So I have a cake stand as a display for soap at my kitchen sink. I have a cookie jar in my bathroom for storage. I have a spice rack that I mentioned for oils, and I have a dresser that I've repurposed as a TV stand. And none of those things cost me anything. They were just items that I moved around my house. So the easiest way that you can mix things up and spice things up in your house is repurposing items that you already have. The next thing you can do is refinish. This is probably my favorite way to spice things up at my house. I like to paint a lot of things. And so you can refinish things like the glass pumpkin, use some spray paint to give it a different finish. The door that you see is an actual door in my dining room. It was a brand new door that looked like the white one, and then I went ahead and refinished it with a regular paint and then a gel stain I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. You can see the different paint finishes that I've used to refinish things, and a table, which is the same technique I used on this table that I'm going to show you. And then I also redid my butcher blocks. So a really simple way to change things up, to update something, and to add a little bit of color. So for example, I got this mirror at the secondhand store. It's not lovely. It's kind of dated, not the colors I was looking for in my home. Now my best friend is black spray paint, and I re-spray painted it, and now it's something that goes with the decor of my house. So this cost me 25 cents at the secondhand store, and now it's a modern piece that I can put in my home. Here's another example. These are little owls that I got at the dollar store. He's cute, but he's very fallish and doesn't really have the right colors. This is called looking glass spray paint, and this completely changed up the look of this owl and made it a modern piece that could be used in different parts of the house and not necessarily with fall decorations. So again, a really inexpensive way to change things up. This table I redid with chalk paint and gel stain. So as you can see, this is mostly the unfinished side. I only refinished half of it for you guys. And this is the other side. This is a technique called chalk painting that I'm going to demonstrate for you. On the top is a finish that we call gel stain. So this is really cool because all I used to prep this was a piece of sandpaper, and I just sanded this down slightly to get a rough surface. And the product gel stain, you can buy it like this. It comes in different colors. I like the small jar because you don't really need very much of it, so it doesn't dry out. And you just brush it over the existing finish. It doesn't require you to strip it and sand it and start over. I do recommend wearing a glove. And then I use this very sophisticated tool, old sock, and you dip it in the gel stain and use it to brush the gel stain on. It's very thick and it's a gel, just like it sounds. And that's what gives you those wood grains. This has about 3 coats of gel stain on it, and it dries relatively quickly, and it gives it this totally different look than what it looked like before. Really easy without a lot of work refinishing. It takes a little bit of finesse to get the hang of it, but once you do it a couple times, it's really easy to to do. So that's a gel stain finish. The chalk paint that I talked about on the legs and on the side is really easy to make yourself. I did not include the recipe in your handout, and I apologize for that, but I'm gonna give it to you right now if you wanna write it down. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take, I'm halving it for my demonstration tonight, but I'll give you the full recipe. You're going to take 2.5 tablespoons of just plaster of Paris, your regular old plaster of Paris. You're gonna put it in a container. I like to use a Tupperware because then it has a lid, and this stuff goes a long way, so you usually have a leftover, so I like a container with a lid. You're gonna take 1.5 tablespoons of water, and you're just gonna mix this up till it makes a nice paste. You wanna make sure that you don't have any lumps during this process because those lumps will transfer into your paint. But once you have that mixed up really well, then you're just gonna add a water-based latex paint. You wanna use water-based because of course you have water in this mixture. So you'll take the paint color of your choice, and you'll just pour it into your plaster of Paris mixture. I have, as you can tell, measuring devices that are designed, I only use for my painting purposes. I bought them at the dollar store, so they're inexpensive, and I don't care if they get ruined. And I don't want to use my ones I use for food.
How much paint?
1 cup of latex paint, and then you're gonna mix that up until you have a nice consistency and it's ready to use. This paint dries quicker than regular paint, so it goes really quickly. It sticks to just about everything, so it's super easy to apply to something like this without having to do a lot of finish work ahead of time. Once it's dry and you have as many coats on it that you'd like, you can distress it if you're into that look. Super easy with a piece of sandpaper, and you just knock the paint off any of those parts and pieces that would normally get wear and tear. You don't want to do it evenly, and you don't want to do it in a pattern because that makes it look like you're trying to wear it, and it doesn't look as authentically aged. So you just knock some of the paint off. In order to finish this type of a product, I did not finish this chalk paint project so I could show you the sanding, but you'll use a wax. This is just a wax that you can purchase at the hardware store, and this one's designed for wood floors. It's a clear wax. I like this one because I can then take some of it, mix it in a bowl with gel stain, and make it a tinted wax, which is the look you see on the distressed door in the photo. Or you can use just the clear wax that you then rub on your piece to finish it. It gives it a nice satiny finish, and it protects the chalk paint after you're done. So that's a really fun, quick, easy finish to refinish some of your projects. Of course, I talked about using spray paint is one of my favorite ones. You can also mix things up with embellishments or just try to add things to make things a little bit different than they were before. And the last, and probably a little bit more complicated and taking a little bit more DIY know-how, is to redo something, to actually transform something into something else. So you can see this is a window that actually came out of my house when we remodeled it. I bolted it together, I mounted it to the wall, and now it's a piece of art instead of a window. And I always said if we remodeled, I was keeping that window. This window had to be nailed shut in the winter. It was not the best window, but it's a beautiful piece of artwork. You can see old spoons that my nephew there bent and used as hooks on a coat rack. Then you can see a door that we mounted to the side of the shed to make a serving bar. And then we have bowls and a candlestick that we glued together to make a display for in my bathroom to store things. So really pretty simple, easy ways that take a little bit more tools and know-how, but easy ways that you can spice up things in your home. Do you guys have any questions?
What's the name of the wax?
The wax. So this one, the brand on this one is Tree Wax, but you can just go to your hardware store and ask for a wax that you would put on a wood product. You don't have to wax the gel stain, just the chalk paint portion of your project. Yes?
So what did you say you added to it when you did the door?
When you use the wax as a tint, you can use gel stain to tint it. So this is just a clear wax. There would be no finish. If I added a stain to it, then when I went over this, the dark pieces would lay in any of these cracks and crevices and give it a little more distressed, aged look. But you don't have to use it with tint. And you can even buy tinted waxes. I just like the versatility of the clear. Any other questions? All right, well good, because I got some questions for you guys. So we're gonna switch over and have you guys answer these clicker questions.